action tonight with Shavan Sen. The Himachal Pradesh Assembly, in line with a few other BJP-ruled states, passed a bill to curb the mass conversions and raise the maximum punishment to 10 years of imprisonment in Freedom of Religion Act.
हिमाचल प्रदेश में आपने देखा होगा कि जो एक नई परिस्थितियां बन रही थी, कई वर्षों से हम देख रहे थे हिमाचल प्रदेश में कि बदले की भावना से, प्रतिशोध की भावना से कुछ चीज़ें होती थी, बहुत ज़्यादा नहीं होती थी लेकिन फिर भी होती थी। हमने उन सारी चीज़ों पर रोकने की कोशिश की।
Now here's some news in brief, viewers. Renowned author Salman Rushdie was taken off a ventilator and will be able to talk, as was confirmed by his agent. The person accused of shooting author Salman Rushdie at an event pled not guilty over the charges, and the 24-year-old from New Jersey has been charged with the attempted murder and assault after his attack on the author. The AIMIM state president demanded that the Bihar's new government have a deputy chief minister from the
जब तक हमारे वतन के सरहद पर सीमा सुरक्षा बल जैसे पहरेदार रहेंगे, तब तक हमारे वतन के सरहद को कोई छू नहीं सकता।
Burning Question, powered by Century Ply and Sharda University.
Ahead of the Independence Day, Bhupesh, Baghel, Equates, Jinnah to Savarkar. Storm over Baghel's remarks on Savarkar as he compares him to Jinnah. Time to end the politics over freedom struggle. India marks Partition Horrors Remembrance Day, but Congress politics continues, questions Prime Minister Modi now. Mega crackdown on terror in Uttar Pradesh. ATS arrests Jaish terrorist in Kanpur in ISIS plot. Veteran investor and the big bull of Dalal Street, Rakesh Jhunjhunwala, passes away at 62 in Mumbai. Well, the nation today marked a Partition Horrors Remembrance Day, recalling the dark day of 14th of August 1947, when the map of India was altered forever, thereby altering the lives of many innocent Indians. But the Vadra Congress has once again insulted this memory with its political statements, and let's not forget the countless number of people who have suffered because of the partition and the baggage that many till date continue carrying along with them, this particular baggage of the partition. The idea behind remembering that was only not to forget what many Indians actually had to go through just because of the partition. Here's a report and then we debate.
August 1947. A dark page in Indian history. Prime Minister Modi took to Twitter to pay tribute to the victims of partition. UP CM Yogi Adityanath conducted a march on account of Vibhajan Vibhishika Smriti Divas. Central ministers and senior BJP leaders conducted silent march across the country to remember the horrors of partition. But the Vadra Congress used the solemn occasion to divide, politicize and insult our freedom hero.
दो राष्ट्र के जो सिद्धांत है उसको सावरकर ने प्रस्तावित किया और उसका समर्थन जिन्ना ने किया। तो विभाजनकारी तो ये लोग हैं। देश की आजादी में उनकी भूमिका क्या रही और अभी भी अंग्रेजों की आलोचना नहीं करते, ये गांधी की आलोचना करते हैं।
Chhattisgarh CM and senior Congress leader Bhupesh Baghel not only compared Swatantra Veer Savarkar to Jinnah, but also alleged that it was Savarkar who proposed the two-nation theory. And yet, Baghel wasn't the first and only Vadra Congress leader to make such controversial remarks about the partition. Congress MP Jairam Ramesh posted a thread of tweets politicizing the Partition Horrors Remembrance Day. The statements by the two Vadra Congress leaders is seemingly a desperate attempt to retain the Nehruvian claim over India's freedom struggle. But isn't it taking it a stretch too far by running down our freedom fighters and politicizing an incident which altered the map of India and lives of Indians overnight? Bureau Report, Republic TV.
Joining us on the burning question tonight, Shazia Ilmi, National Spokesperson of the BJP, Lieutenant General Sanjay Kulkarni, former DG Infantry and Defence Analyst, Amit Raina Kashmiri, activist, Dr. Sumansi Raman, political analyst, Sameer Singh, National Spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party. Opening up the debate is Shazia Ilmi and Sumansi Raman. Sumansi Raman, let me straight away begin by asking you, if Veer Savarkar had basically approved of the two-nation theory, then would he have actually said this, and I'm quoting, "We shall ever guarantee protection to the religion, culture and language of the minorities." It is equally unlikely that he would have said that no one would be allowed special weightage or representation, or that the Hindus as a nation are willing to discharge their duty to a common Indian state on equal footing. And the very statement that the Congress party is latching on, and not the first time. You've had Shashi Tharoor in some lit fest also saying that the proponents of this two-nation theory starts with Golwalkar and Veer Savarkar. Now this entire Congress version of history that we've always been thrust upon, Sumansi Raman, without looking at the nuances, without even looking at the statement, therein lies the biggest problem. Will you or will you not admit that this was a statement that was made by Veer Savarkar himself? And I'll also come to that very statement that the Congress latches on in a short while from now. But first, you've heard what I had to say, my opening remarks as far as this debate is concerned. I want you to respond.
Yeah, okay. First of all, there are, multiple records, which go on to say about how Savarkar was sort of, more in favor of a division based on religious lines. Now, whether you want to call this a two-nation theory or whatever is a matter of conjecture. The point really is what Mr. Baghel has said is something that has been written in multiple books. Now you want to say that all those books were written by Congress people and they're all fake and we are now in the process of rewriting history. That's fine. That's a choice. I mean, history is always written by the winning side, and right now the winning side is the BJP. So they can rewrite history in any which manner that they would want to do. At some point in time, I'm sure even the pardon letters which were sent by Mr. Savarkar to the British government will probably be erased from history at some point of time. So in this process of rewriting history, this is I would say a comparatively small step. But
Sumansi Raman.
Yeah.
I started off actually quoting, which has been widely quoted by several of the historians. This is not my figment of imagination, Sumansi Raman. When I'm quoting, I'm quoting
That
Veer
is the point,
Savarkar, and
sir.
this has been by various historians have quoted this. It's also
there
about
are
the
a new generation of
interpretation.
quote-unquote historians who are busy rewriting history. And this is a very important part of their project. Today, there was an ad in papers in Karnataka.
So are you suggesting okay? So are you suggesting that the BJP?
I mean, how absurd is that? All part of history rewriting project.
Why doesn't Shazia?
And his photo did not figure.
Okay, so you're basically saying that there is a project that today.
Suman Singh ji,
If I'm not wrong, Suman C. Raman, you are basically Shazia. This is what basically Suman C. Raman is accusing you of, that there is a project that has been Bharatiya Janata Party, and the project has been titled as a rewrite history. They also say that you have these fly-by-night historians who have now come up. They've opened shops and they're basically rewriting history to the whims and fancies. I don't know about that. You perhaps would like to respond. But as a student of history and sociology, all that I know,
so there are 2 points.
As far as Veer Savarkar is concerned, Shazia, correct me if I'm wrong, he was after all a realist. Therefore, when he spoke about there being two nations of Hindus and Muslims in India, he was expressing an unpleasant truth, a bitter reality. And in fact, a solution can only be found when one accepts the reality. And to this end, Shazia Ilmi, and I'm quoting once again Veer Savarkar, he says, it is safer to diagnose and treat deep-seated disease than to ignore it. Let us bravely face unpleasant facts as they are. I want you to respond to the allegations that have been leveled, and also...
So
no, I'll come to that. I'll come to that threadbare. It's not a one-sided debate, Suman C. Raman. I'm putting out all facts. I'm not here to take any sides. I'm here to basically raise questions.
Yeah. So
Shazia, respond.
So while my friend Sumanji, with whom I've been locking horns for many years now, while he believes that there should be one point of view, I for one actually believes, like many others, that there are and history need not be written from just the winning side or from the point of view of Nehruvians or those who believe in Mahatma Gandhi and Jawaharlal Nehru as the only protagonist of India's freedom struggle. I have said it many times earlier that the subaltern schools, the struggles of the peasants, the struggle of the other workers, and various other revolts that have happened need to be talked about as much. So it is just not about just the Veer Savarkar's point of view. It is only now with Uday Mahurkarji's book and Vikram Sampat's book, in fact, which I read, and these are big, huge volumes, that I realized I read, and I am so greatly impressed with the man. Now, so we can speak about that, and I think a lot has been said and has been conceded about Veer Savarkar ji's role
Vikram
also, and of course there's Nehru ji or Indira Gandhi. So a lot has been said, but while you want to refer to the 1937 speech of Veer Savarkar ji, as everyone else is talking about, which talks about the two-nation theory, much before that there was a plan for the partition, and the plan was underway, because how else would you explain the Mopla massacre of 1921. Now if you see, and who talks about it? Interestingly, Suman you do not have to read either Vikram Sampath ji, my wonderful friend, or my other historians who come from the other side, but Annie Besant, the member, the brilliant, fantastic theosophist, philanthropist, who believed in India's self-rule and the Irish self-rule. Yeah. She talked about it, and you must read her book, which talks about it and what happened actually. And so this precedes, and this was when in the Mopla massacres actually established the fact way beyond and much before Veer Savarkar's assertion. And I can come to Veer Savarkar ji and the great admiration I have for him and his mind and how he thought Indians should be recruited at the cost of the British. And how they should be working towards independence. So he had a different idea, and also not just that, what his views were on caste system. So
Shazia ji,
no,
there can
fantastic.
be
So, I'm
there
not
can
even
be
going there.
multiple
But here at this point of
views
time, no, sir.
about opinions. You can't have
Sumansi Rana,
multiple
I'll give
views
you
on
the chance.
facts.
I'll give you the
Multiple
chance.
views.
Okay, one
There
second.
cannot be different views on facts. There is only one
I'll
fact.
request both of you.
Will
One
Harper-
second. One second.
You can't have
I'll
different
request both
views
of
on
you.
facts. I'm sorry.
I'll request.
The whole
Facts,
problem
facts,
is
because Mopla-
facts are being.
No, one second. Sumansi Raman, talking over each other is not going to really help. Just does not make sense. Shazia, just hold on. Sumansi Raman and Shazia, both of you, there's no point talking over each other. We are talking about a very serious issue, and people would like to know where we stand. Okay, Shazia, I'm giving you another 30 seconds. You make your opening remarks. A quick rebuttal coming in from Sumansi Raman. Sumansi Raman, not more than 30 seconds of rebuttal. And then I'll open up the debate with all our guests who are joining in.
Look, I'm not going to get into this debate of my historian is better than your historian. That serves no purpose. The point is, there is a generally accepted version of events. Now, we want to recreate those events in a manner which highlights our ideologies and our beliefs in today's context. Now, I'm not saying that it has not been done before. It has been done before. Like I said, history is written by the winning side. But a fact cannot have multiple views or multiple sides. A fact is a fact. It's the same fact for you and the same fact for me.
Okay,
you're
now talking about absolutely. I totally agree. Sumansi Raman, I totally agree with one thing that you are saying. Facts cannot be denied. You are absolutely right. Okay. Shazia, quick response, because I also need to go across to my other guests, and I'll come back to this fact part that Sumansi Raman is talking about. A quick response, Shazia. Allow me to also bring in other guests who are waiting. Okay, both of you, you can't continue like this, because I can't have the entire debate only with both of you talking. Shazia, a quick response to Sumansi Raman.
30 seconds.
Can facts be denied? I want a response, and then I'll bring in my other guests.
I will not repeat. Annie Besant's book is a fact. Mopla massacres are a fact. Your historian, my historian, Annie Besant was, in the Congress party. We all know about Congress party's association with Annie Besant, how integral she was. So there's no question. Generally accepted view, I challenge that. Now, what is a generally accepted view? What is so factual about the generally accepted view? What is so accepted about it? Who accepts it? Is the question. And I challenge that with complete authority and citation of facts at my disposal. So, whether it's the National Archives or any books you can go to. Thank you. I rest my case.
Let's talk about the facts, and let's talk about that one statement that was made by Veer Savarkar. This was during the Mahasabha convention in Karnavati in 1937. Karnavati at that point in time, and now Ahmedabad. This was basically during the presidential address at the All India Mahasabha convention. I want Tausif Ahmed Khan and Lieutenant General Sanjay Kulkarni to come in. Tausif, we are talking about, so the problem here, let's go threadbare, one by one. It's that one statement, and I'm going to quote tonight, where Veer Savarkar had said, India cannot be assumed today to be a unitarian and a homogeneous nation, but on the contrary, there are two nations in the main, the Hindus and the Muslims in India. Quoting the Samagra Savarkar Vadmai, Volume 6, Maharashtra Prantik Hindu Sabha publication, 1963-65, page number 296. So this is what the Congress party has latched on. Now, what they're basically forgetting, Tausif, and as Sumansi Raman talks about facts. So I'm bringing out all facts, then you can take on the debate. The very next day, there was a clarification. This part of the speech was criticized even when he was alive. In fact, I'm given to understand it has been documented, as Shazia was also pointing out. You can go to the archive section, perhaps take a look at it, where Savarkar has clarified his statement to journalists on 15th of August 1943 in the office of the Marathi weekly Adesh, published from Nagpur. He's clarified in his position in an interview given in Mumbai on 23rd of August 1947. In the interview, he said, people still do not understand the important thing, that stating the fact of Muslim and Hindu nations being present in Hindustan is not to accept the Pakistan adamancy of carving a country of the Muslims, while 200 nations that consider themselves separate from the Hindus have presently entered Hindustan by force and are demanding partition of Hindustan. It is not by a woolly-headed and cowardly denial of this fact, but rather by understanding, facing and changing it shall an independent, undivided and indivisible Hindu nation alone shall not without doubt remain in Hindustan. But as in our history, when the Hindu nation successfully rallied under the Hindu flag, the Hindus should come forward and rise unitedly. We should not confuse between nation and state. Even if the state goes, the nation remains. Now it continues, where he also talks about the primacy as well as not perhaps only focusing on one faith. So, Tausif, there was a clarification that was also put out. So, where exactly is this theory that we still talk about, that Veer Savarkar is the one who's the main proponent as far as the two-nation theory is concerned? I put out everything for you to now debate.
There is a very famous Urdu शायरी, सच अगर घटे या बढ़े तो सच ना रहे और झूठ की कोई इम्तिहान ही नहीं. What will you deny? The Sangh and Hindu Mahasabha, what will they deny? They have a history. If we take for example our national flag, they have a history of rejecting the tricolor. And I'll give you, I'll quote a letter from the then Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru to Shyama Prasad Mukherjee, which was written on 28th of September 1947. Just 2 lines. You have read so many pages. I will just read 1 or 2 lines. In that letter, and I'm quoting Jawaharlal Nehru, he wrote a letter to Shyama Prasad Mukherjee, who was the interim minister in the then cabinet from 1947 to 1950. He wrote, I did not even know that the Bhagwa Janda was flying over your house instead of national flag. It seems to me very odd that a minister should fly any flag but the national flag. This is on record. And the other example I can give you, undeniable fact. The RSS headquarters refused to hoist national flag after 52 years of independence. Only in 2001, when 3 people attempted to hoist national flag in the headquarters, the RSS lodged FIR and there was public outcry. Then in 2002, they started hoisting the national flag. So the Hindu Mahasabha,
okay,
the Sangh and their followers, which is today's BJP and Bajrang Dal and so on, they have betrayed the constitutional ethos. So, they have betrayed because they supported the killers of Mahatma Gandhi. They are the children of Nathuram Godse.
I've got your point. I'm sure General Kulkarni has also fairly understood.
Mahatma Gandhi.
Okay, I have understood. I'm sure General Kulkarni has also fairly understood which direction are you basically moving towards. You're basically also raising this entire criticism or an argument, whichever way you would like to put it across, General Kulkarni, that every time we spoke about the Har Ghar Tiranga, there was only one retort that came in from the Congress party and the ilks of Tausif. They said that what happened in the RSS? Why did they not hoist the flag? They should be the ones who should be hoisting the flag. When they did not for so many years, how are you expecting anyone else to do it? Now, those are the arguments that we always bring our country down to, politics. It's everything about politics. General Kulkarni, as someone who served the nation for several decades put together, have fought wars, have been at the frontiers, have understood the real meaning of what a flag basically determines and what it means for everyone, for every armed soldier, and not just the armed soldier, for every citizen perhaps. But unfortunately what happens is that today also on the eve of the independence, we would love to bring in controversies, court controversies, by saying that look here, two-nation theory, etc., but forgetting of what the country has actually achieved in the last 75 years.
I must first thank you and wish everybody a very, very happy Independence Day, which is coming tomorrow. Having said that, let's not politicize the Independence Day. That's my first take on this. Even as regards the national flag is concerned, We get independence on the 15th of August 1947, and on the 22nd of July 1947, the Indian national flag has been designed and put up. And thereafter, the flag committee under Dr. Rajendra Prasad accepts the flag, and that's all. Even Mahatma Gandhi at that point of time did feel a little hurt when the charkha was taken away, because from 1921 to 1931 we had a Tiranga, but it didn't have saffron, it didn't have white and green, it had white, green and red with a big charkha in the center. And when the chakra was adopted and then given and shown to Mahatma Gandhi again, then Mahatma Gandhi, much that he had wanted all along the charkha and not the chakra, accepted it, having seen, and even Dr. Rajendra Prasad himself told Pyabji that please go and show it to Mahatma Gandhi, let's take his acceptance because he has an objection. Come on, let's not politicize, let's not go into details. Each one of us have read history, all of us know how the flags have come into existence, when was national anthem accepted. Now if you were to say the national anthem, the plate that was on the 15th of August 1947 in United Nations, what is the national anthem? Obviously the one that the Subhash Chandra Bose had, because we took time. It was 23rd of January 1950 that we have a national anthem. So there are certain times in history take. So we must not at this point of time politicize something. Everybody had their views, everybody who was fighting, it is the National Congress. Is that the Indian National Congress and the Congress today are the same? They're different. That time everybody was part of the Indian National Congress. Everybody wanted freedom. Everybody wanted independence. Everybody, all tooth and nail, wanted independence. And today we are at the 75th anniversary. We must all celebrate. I think it's time we do not sort of start, backbiting. No, he said this, he said that. Well, why did you do this? I think that this is not the time. This is the time to see how much we have gained in 75 years. Imagine a national flag, Tiranga that we call. 54 other countries have Tiranga also, of different colors and different shapes and different sizes. But the flag that we have, the national flag that we have, we ought to be proud of it. We must say, yes, what we were and what we are. And that's the way we look at it. And not this petty politics. I think we should be out of petty politics. And we must see how much we progressed technologically, how much has a man reached where it is, what is the state of literacy today. Everybody has contributed. Not one man has made this country. Everybody has contributed, whether it is economically, whether we are looking at technologically, whether we are looking modernization of military, whether we are looking at literacy, you're looking at human resources, you see education, you see health, progress. Much needs to be done. But that is one part. But today we politicize that so-and-so said this, so-and-so said that, so-and-so said this. Well, how many of us would know that Fazli Hussain was the man who actually looked at it, a communist who turned nationalist, and it was only on the death of Fazli Hussain was called Mian Sahib of Punjab. Did Jinnah then get back to India because he was then practicing and he didn't want. The moment he died, he got back. Obviously, who's looking at partition theories? Obviously, Jinnah, and there is no denying the fact. Everybody, so many people would have their views to it. But let's not politicize. Today, we have in India, and we look at India with pride. We have a national flag, with a national anthem. We sing with pride. We have a flag before die for me as an army man, it's Naam, Namak, Nishan. And I look at it that yes, that is the country that belongs to me. I'll die for this country. I'll live for this country. And this is where we are. And we must progress and go miles and miles. I go along with Pandit Nehru always said, miles to go before I sleep and miles to go before I sleep. Definitely, we have miles to go. But this is no time for politicizing. Let's all join in and celebrate this, the 75th Independence Day. Yeah.
No time for politicizing. Samir Singh, why isn't that perhaps there is one occasion, that's one occasion where political parties decide not to get into petty politics and perhaps cherish what the country has achieved despite the kind of hardships that we have actually gone through? Be it at all indices, be it our literacy rate, be it our infrastructure, we have progressed leaps and bounds. So why is it that you want to get into the political parties, opposition parties? You all believe that this is the perfect opportune time to target, and not just target your opponent. At the end of the day, what you do is also tarnish the image of your own country.
Shravan, first of all, thank you so much. And I'd like to, on your platform, I'd like to congratulate all the viewers on the eve of the 75th Independence Day. Coming back to what your question was, Samajwadi Party is absolutely against politicizing the Tiranga or politicizing nationalism. We've never done that, and we're completely against it. We don't want to blame the BJP. We don't want to, play blame games. And at least on this auspicious occasion, because 75 years is a huge time, and as my previous speakers in the panel, they've spoken at length about how India has grown, and we are really proud of what India has achieved in the 75 years. In fact, we want to reiterate the fact. We want to remind the BJP, who claims that everything in India is happening or happened after 2014. We don't want that. We want people to believe, we want to accept the fact that India has achieved a lot in all those 75 years. But somehow, when you say that politicizing, we should not politicize, I agree, we should not politicize. But the ruling party, the BJP, should also understand that while we are celebrating the 75th anniversary of independence, let's not go back and question what the Congress has done, or let's not say that Congress did not do anything. You need to accept what the country has become today. The Congress has a huge role to play in it, and a lot of other leaders. In fact, every political party, every government that has come to power since 1947 has a role to play in the development of the country. So we are not saying that the BJP is not doing anything, or we don't want to politicize what's happening currently. But then if such a campaign like the Tiranga campaign, the Har Ghar campaign that has come up, if we have reservation against it, it's because things happen. Like we say that we should not politicize it, and if we have a reservation against the campaign, then I think all of us have seen the BJP chief of Uttarakhand, Mahendra Bhatt, saying that nation won't trust homes without flag. Now, is this the kind of patriotism we want in the country right now? Is this the kind of message we want to give in the society right now? Because these will only add fuel to the fire that we're already seeing how unstable the country is in terms of communal angles. And then you want another rift in the society by saying that people who are not hoisting flag, you can't question the nationalism or the patriotism of people who are not hoisting the national flag. Of course, we should, but that has always been a personal choice.
Amit Raina.
And I think we should respect that. Everybody should respect it. But then
So are you saying there is a problem with campaigns like Har Ghar Tiranga? Amit Raina, seems to be some sort of a bone of contention, Amit Raina, for the opposition parties. They're saying that, look here, we are basically, or the government essentially is basically trying to shove it down the throat. Okay, it's for political gains. Okay, if it's for political, Amit Raina, I want a quick response from you, and then also perhaps Shazia, because this question is more directed towards you, but I just want a quick response from Amit Raina, and then perhaps Shazia, you can also respond. The allegation is direct.
One of us, every Indian, on the 75th year of independence. Now coming to the sad thing is that we need to remember that nations who do not learn from history are doomed to relive it. And today, unfortunately, that's what is happening. That's what opposition parties are doing. Look at the way the terror apologists, look at the way partition apologists, look at the way these political parties are today finding ways to excuse Jinnah and Muslim League of opposition of partition, saying that they are not responsible for partition. They are finding ways to blame Hindus for partition of India. They are finding ways of blaming the freedom fighters of India on how India was divided. Someone was talking about facts. Dear sir, the fact is that the first time the theory of two nations was propagated by Sir Sayyid was in 1876, many years before even Savarkar was born. It was in 1925 Aligarh where Justice Rahim went and defined what does two nation mean. It was much before 1937 speech of Damodar in Karnavati. So let us not, if you want to go by facts, then we go by timelines. And if you remember what Savarkar said two nations but under one, in one country, under one constitution. That was his way of defining the two nation part of it. So it is very sad today that in the 75th year, when today we should be remembering and learning from the horrors of 1947, when this country was divided, when 1.5 million, 15 million people died for a community which took away 25% of the land when only they were 16%. And today again this country is being divided. There are attempts to divide this country again, and that is why there is an attempt made to rewrite the history. That's why now attempt is being made to rewrite history, saying that it was Hindus that divided this nation. This is the state of this country today. Unfortunate, so sad that today we are, instead of celebrating 75th year of independence, opposition parties are trying to find ways of how to blame Hindus for what has happened in this country. Was it Hindus which went and launched direct election in 1946? Is Congress today telling us that because they did not support Hindus in 1946 for being lynched, that Hindus got up and tried to defend themselves, and Mahatma Gandhi and Jawaharlal Nehru came and said stop, and Hindus said no, till we are not defended, we will not stop. Are Hindus being blamed for that? They said
I want Shazia
will not be allowed to kill.
Shazia, Samir also raised this point. It's a fair enough point that is also been made by Amit. Shazia, I want a clear response from you on two aspects.
Let's be honest.
Shazia,
so say
I just want to make a small intervention. Shazia, just a small intervention, because I want a clarity on two things, because I know this is going to come up in the course of the debate again and again. So let's put this very straight on record. Now, as far as the government's campaigns are concerned, the Har Ghar Tiranga, what has essentially happened is that the argument that has been put forth is this, that why are you basically shoving it down our throat? That's what the opposition parties are. You've heard what Sabir of the Samajwadi Party had to say. I want you to respond to that, and then perhaps Sumansi Raman, you can come in.
So firstly, I would like to say, objectively, as somebody who believes in facts, because somebody did mention facts earlier in the debate, whatever Amit Raina said just now is actually there in the history. These are the facts. They are there in every book. Your historian, my historian, all the historians, because those are events that happened in a certain order, which is called chronology, and in a linear fashion. So this is how it is. That is the timeline. So nobody can dispute them, and nobody can put a spin on them. So you can't dispute it. That's one. But constantly sugarcoating, taking away the role of whether it's Muslims, Islamists, I would say not Muslims, and there's a huge difference. I mean, I'm a Muslim, I'm an Indian, I'm a woman. I'm not an Islamist. So there's a difference there. And I think sugarcoating that role, putting the blame constantly on the Hindu brethren for everything, and just ignoring and being in denial, I think it does such a huge disservice to the very idea of so-called secularism that these sophist secularists seem to espouse. And it really shocks my integrity, just as a secularist slash, a seeker of truth and objectivity, seeker of facts, if you may, So I don't know. I mean, this is just lying constantly, you see, and just putting a spin. Now, Har Ghar Tiranga. What was the need to make it about Veer Savarkar and Islamists? What was the need to mention Veer Savarkar and therefore bring the argument to, and they lose it every time, you see. They're wrong every time. They're not even smart with facts. So what was the need to bring it? The fact of the matter is that it took our Prime Minister so many years, 14th August 2021, to have a Remembrance Day. 6 lakh people killed in 7 days, 47 years back, talking about these times. Can you imagine? And in a period preceding, 2 months before 15th of August, and about roughly 2.5, 3 months after the displacement, which has been the largest displacement of human beings, in the history. No, not even the bloodiest revolution has seen that. So, and nobody wants to talk about it. you have a Holocaust museum is something people have done. South Africa has had a truth and reconciliation, but we want to sugarcoat. We want to just hide it. We just want to don't want to talk about it. Jairam Ramesh ji actually writes that
you want to sugarcoat.
Why
Okay,
should we
Suman
open the wounds? Why would you do that? No, I'm not done. Another point. This is a small point. I think Har Ghar Tiranga is about Har Ghar Tiranga. Why would you want to oppose it? Why should it be shoved down your throat? Why would you see it as being shoved down your throat? Why would you embrace it happily? Har Ghar Tiranga, it's so beautiful. Why would you want to politicize it? It's you who's politicizing it, my friend. Why won't you embrace it joyously? What is the argument here? I don't get it. Hindu, Muslim, I mean, I don't know, Gujjar, Jat, Barelvi, Shia, Sunni, Deobandi. I'm not getting it, my friend. Islamist, Muslim, Hinduism versus Hindutva. Where is the spin here? Why should there be a spin on everything? I don't get it. हर चीज में spin लगाना है क्या? नट बोल्ड करते रहोगे ठीक? झंडा है यार, तिरंगा है, अपने देश का है. भारत हमारा देश है.
If you are confused, you can ask many of your party colleagues. They will be able to explain it to you.
प्रॉब्लम क्या है? समझ में नहीं आ रहा है. प्रॉब्लम आ जाता है. What is the
Suman Siraman, what exactly?
What is the thing? I mean,
what exactly? Suman Siraman, will you or will you not? Tell me something, Suman Siraman. Okay, one second. Shazia, okay, let me take this forward. Shazia, your point is taken. Your point is taken. Suman Siraman, the votaries of Suman Siraman. Okay, Shazia, just what? Suman Siraman, I'm sure you've travelled outside India.
Let's just do it.
Okay, Shazia, let's look at it this way.
Absolutely.
You're a knowledgeable man like Suman Siraman, and I can safely assume, Suman Siraman, a knowledgeable person like you, I can safely assume that you've also travelled across. You've seen countries like the United States of America, and if you actually go to any other place, any place in the United States of America, you would find in almost every household, outside their house, the US flag there.
Pseudo-intellectualizing.
In fact, a Congress leader, it is the Congress leader who had basically petitioned as far as the Tiranga is concerned. We were very queasy. We are always very queasy when it comes to our own national flag. You tell me, Suman Siraman, why should we Indians not be proud of our own national flag and look at politics behind it? Forget, for a moment, just forget that this was an initiative of the Bharatiya Janata Party.
Who is speaking of not being proud of the national flag? Every Indian is proud of the national flag. I mean, there were certain organizations which were not proud of the national flag, which refused to accept the Tiranga as a national flag. Some of them up to almost till 2002. But I think every Indian is proud of the national flag. And I don't see any two opinions emerging on that. Now, I just have a couple of points to make. One is, if Shazia ji wants to know more about spin, all she has to do is to pick up the phone and talk to her party colleagues, because a lot of them are sort of masters at that.
Again,
the second point, let me finish my point. Let me finish. I didn't interrupt you. One minute.
That's hardly an answer.
There's one gentleman who spoke about Syed Khan in 1876 advocating two-nation theory. Now, I can give you dozens of nationalist Muslims who opposed the two-nation theory. Has he heard of a gentleman called Maulana Azad? Has he heard of a gentleman called Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan, who was called the Frontier Gandhi? Does he know that the All India Muslim Azad Conference passed a resolution saying we will not accept two nations? They wanted a united India. This is also fact, but I think that these facts are not convenient. So we will have to somehow figure out some way of rewriting all this also. Maybe I've given more inputs to help this gentleman to rewrite these things.
They were not convenient to Mr. Nehru also, right? They were not convenient. Yeah, it's a fact. They were not convenient. You are right. The facts, Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan's his what he presented and what his misgivings were not appreciated by.
What about Maulana Azad? What about Maulana Azad?
That is true, and that is also recorded. That is recorded. And in fact, Maulana Azad and what his opinion was, and you please read what he said about Mr. Nehru, and he says it was such a mistake. I wish we had chosen Sardar Patel ji, and I'll take that out and I'm going to tweet it right now.
No,
So
we
it's
are
all there.
talking
And
of
in
the
fact,
two
what he
nation
said
theory.
is so
We are
relevant
talking
today.
of the
And
two
the
nation
speech he
theory.
made. No,
And
so
let's
you
be
can't
very
see,
clear.
because
Let's be
listen,
very
I have a
clear.
point here.
Nehru
I'm
does
asking-
not need
let
a
me finish.
certificate
I can
from
put a spin, you see.
anyone,
But why do you
any
need to put a
political
spin?
party today,
Whenever you
whether
suit,
it
you
is
choose
BJP
one.
or Congress.
No, Shravan, let me come in.
He stands tall
again-
as the architect
again,
of
when it
modern
suits
India,
you,
whether you
Suman
like it or not.
Siraman. Let's not do this. This dog whistling is not going to work out. One second.
Does not need
You've made your point,
freedom
Suman Siraman.
fighter
You've made your point. I'm going to run out of time, so I don't want this to continue like this. I don't want. Suman Siraman, you've made your point. One second. Shazia and Suman Siraman, hold on, please. Hold on, please. It's a request. Hold on, please. Suman Siraman, come on. You can't hijack. Come on. You can't hijack. You can't. You made your points. You've made your points. Suman Siraman, please hold on. Don't hijack it like this. It makes absolutely no sense. No one is going to understand what you're trying to say. Shazia, you made your point, Suman Siraman. Shazia, quick response. I want then Tausif and General Kulkarni to also come in. I'm really running short of time, so Shazia, it's my request. Keep it short.
Only 30. So I would like to request.
Go ahead, Shazia.
Sumanji, please do not. If you think my colleagues are doing it, you don't have to be such a scapegoat, and you don't have to do a spin yourself. And if you can't quote selectively, because if you want to quote Maulana Azad, I can say a lot of things that Maulana Azad did say, also about Jawaharlal Nehru. So you can't use something in one context and then feel embarrassed about other
Suman
people.
Siraman, let's not do that, please. Let her complete. No.
The topic is Har Ghar Tiranga. Har Ghar Tiranga.
Suman Siraman, please.
I'm sorry, please see what is being captured out
whichever
here.
Goal.
Mega politics over Madra Congress comment. Mr. Bhupesh Baghel's comment is the key.
Suman Siraman, I made this very clear. Suman Siraman, I'm not letting this happen. Suman Siraman, I'm not letting this happen. I'm not letting this happen on my show. Shazia and Suman Siraman, I'm not letting this happen. Talking over each other is not something I'm going to let this happen.
I just wanted 20 seconds.
Suman Siraman, you made your point. Shazia, another 10 seconds. 10 seconds more, Shazia. You've taken enough. 10 seconds more. Make your statement. Make your statement.
No, No, if you're going to give me 10 seconds, I do not want this gentleman who are speaking very politely to interrupt me constantly. Can you?
Okay, I've already told Suman Siraman. You make your point. Yeah, I'll make sure. Please go ahead. Make your point. Make your point.
That is my time. So I want to say this, that is very convenient to get shifty and keep changing the goalposts and use a person's quote selectively to suit your purpose. The devil has been, does that as the proverb says. Now let's not go there because there are so many things to be said. Why put a spin? If it's Har Ghar Tiranga, it's very simple.
What proverb?
It's very simple. So why there has to be a spin about it? I can, all these years, I can intellectualize and talk about it and put a spin. One doesn't do it because it's so meaningless. Because it's no longer about Veer Savarkar or Justice Shahid. It is about today's India. It is about 15th August of 2022.
It's about the idea. Okay.
Tausif. Why let this party politics come
Absolutely.
in? It is something
we are debating. The interesting part is Shazid, thank you. You made a point. Let me bring in Tausif. Tausif, on the eve of our independence, there is a lot more to talk about, and in fact, I can actually go on and on about where we have succeeded. Yes, there is a long way to go. I'm not saying that we have achieved it. There are a lot of areas that our country really needs to work on. There are several challenges, and a big country like ours will always have those kind of challenges. But for once, Tausif, at least tonight, I'm running short of time tonight. Why don't you actually, for once, not talk about the negatives, but also speak about the positives of this country, and perhaps also laud the fact when the government is correct in certain issues, why don't you laud the government for that? When they are going wrong, feel free to take them to the cleaners. But at least on a matter like this, where all of us should be proud, rather than giving a spin by saying that, look here, the government is shoving it down our throat. Pehle bola tha thali bajane ke liye, ab bol rahe ki tiranga lehrane ke liye. Now that kind of comment is trivializing this entire matter and perhaps also insulting the nation.
I agree with you that as a nation we have come very far in last 75 years. We have come very far in last 75 years, and yes, you are right that we also have a long way to go. I agree with you that when you say that we must speak about positive work that is done, but I am compelled to. I'm absolutely compelled to at least talk about one incident, a recent incident, which breaks my heart. A 9-year-old school boy, when in 2022, 9-year-old school boy is categorized as Dalit and is punished by beating him to death. I'm not blaming anyone. I'm not blaming any particular party. I'm not blaming any particular state. I am talking about us as a whole, as a nation. When can we stop this? There is a law to stop atrocities against scheduled caste, scheduled tribe. There is a constitution which clearly abolishes the caste system.
You have a point.
Still, it bleeds, it makes us cry.
I don't want to remind you, Tausif.
Can we today pledge as a
Okay,
nation?
Tausif. Tausif, I think so. You also remember, in fact, this is a story that we have been tracking very closely. It's shocking, and it's Tausif, it's happened in a state. The incident has happened in a state where time and again we have been talking about the rising crime in that particular state, but not much has been done. But I want to give this last word to General Kulkarni, a man that I really admire.
This is the mentality.
General Kulkarni.
This is mentality, caste system mentality. It's not a crime.
Okay.
This has to be.
I just want one last word. I want to end this. Tonight, all my panelists, one second, hold on. Tausif, hold on. You've made your point. Tonight, slight departure from the way we generally end our debate. We're ending this debate on the eve of our independence, and what better than perhaps someone like General Kulkarni with a varied experience, who has actually seen the country, going through one of the most difficult times. Let's not forget some of the most difficult wars that we have fought. What were some of the most difficult wars that we have fought, and with limited resources? With limited resources, we have basically fought those wars. And today we are where we are. And General Kulkarni, one last word from you, perhaps on a very positive note, so that all our viewers who are watching this can at least take back something that they should be feeling proud
Kulkarni
of.
Speak on casteism as well.
Shravan, first and foremost, it's very important that Har Ghar Tiranga,
it's his choice, it's his prerogative.
Pride. It's still pride in every individual to see for himself as to what India is about, to feel the pulse of India, and that is where, as what he's trying to talk about caste or anything like that, it is for us as Indians to introspect. It is not, the nation is proud, the nation is where we are, we comprise the nation. If we have not to be able to introspect, if we are criticizing each other, we are not on the same page when it comes to celebrating India's Independence Day, I think there is something wrong with some people. It is nothing wrong with the country. It is introspection by the people. They are not, that is why Har Ghar Tiranga, that is why the need to instill the pride in everybody that we are all good human beings. We are all part of this country. We have to take this country to places. And each one of us is capable. Each one of us has the desire. Each one of us wants to see the country at that great pedestal. Who's not proud of our country? We are. And that is why Har Ghar Tiranga is a way of instilling pride in every Indian. Let's do no wrong. Let's not criticize each other. Let's all work for this country. We are all born in this country. We must unitedly stand, and unitedly we must work for this country, and not politicizing one bit. Every part of it will have two sides at the same coin. No problem. But when it comes to nation, when it comes to Tiranga, when it comes to the great, if there is something wrong, we need to introspect ourselves. If something is wrong with me, I don't blame the nation. I don't blame the government. I am responsible for the wrong that I do. And that is what is very important. We take pride on the eve of the 75th independence.
Thank you.
Har Ghar Tiranga is with a view to instill pride in every Indian.
I'm really running short of time. Okay, Tausif, I don't have the time for I don't have a time for the response right now. But General Kulkarni, thank you very much for putting this into perspective, and a thought that all of us will go back to bed tonight with. And I'll be requesting all our guests and all our viewers who are tuning in right now, the unmissable broadcast with our editor-in-chief, Arnab Goswami, starting from 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. Thank you very much, Azay Elbe, General Kulkarni, Amit Raina, Tausif Khan, Dr. Sumansi Raman and Samir Singh. Looking forward to meeting all of you tomorrow on our special broadcast.
Reading allows us to become familiar with ourselves.
We don't read, we won't know what is knowledge. I just find it very interesting to know people's lives, how they went through certain situations, how they dealt with things.
So wherever you want to go in life, if you read books along those lines, then that would really help you in growing.
Reading could mean a million different things to every individual. What does it mean to you? Visit readindia.info to find out more.
In an exclusive conversation with Republic, Jammu's ADG Mukesh Singh on terror threats ahead of Independence Day said that terrorist groups are in a bid of infiltration and to target security camps to avoid any act of terror in the Union territory. Anti-drones have been installed and the public have been briefed about the threats. Speaking about the recruitment rally for Indian Army Agniveers as per Agnipath scheme, Major General Ranjan Mahajan says in total 4 districts will be covered. Best candidates will be selected through transparent process. He further revealed about a separate women's rally which will be carried out after a few days. You're watching live and breaking other top stories from across the country after the sudden demise of India's big bull Rakesh Jhunjhunwala's final rites to be reportedly performed at 5:30 p.m. today in Mumbai's Malabar Hill. Jhunjhunwala was brought dead to Breach Candy Hospital at around 6:45 a.m. this morning. Following the demise of the ace investor of India,
उन्होंने अध्यक्षता किया। उस समय उन्होंने कहा कि 2 राष्ट्र का उन्होंने स्वीकार किया और वहीं मोहम्मद जिन्ना ने उसे 1937 में उसको स्वीकार किया। तो 2 राष्ट्र के जो सिद्धांत है उसको सावरकर ने प्रस्तावित किया और उसका समर्थन जिन्ना ने किया। तो विभाजनकारी तो ये लोग हैं। देश की आजादी में उनकी भूमिका क्या रही?
The Amity BBA has been ranked India's #1 BBA in the recently released Times of India B School 2022 rankings, a testimony to Amity BBA's globally benchmarked standards in education.
These kind of trainings are very important because this entire region is more of the mountainous rather than plains. So the Jawan coming to the Kargil battle school has to go all kind of training.
हमारे सेना में लड़ाई लड़ने की इच्छा शक्ति, आत्मविश्वास तथा दुश्मन को निष्क्रिय करने का ताकत है।
You have to be physically fit if you have to be in this kind of weather and in this kind of region.
And now let's get you some news from across the country in brief. Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath has received death threats in a letter addressed to Devendra Tiwari, National President of the Bharatiya Kisan Manch. One Mohammad Ajmal said that the regime of Chief Minister Adityanath, people like Tiwari have